All right, y'all. I need two things from y'all before we start today's video. Number one, who are you wanting to see on this balance patch list? I'm assuming it was some combination of Ilanov, Arunka, Little Queen Charlotte, etc. I know I've been dying for an Ilanov buff myself. And seeing the patch notes or the hero list this morning, I almost didn't even make a video today. But second, do you guys think this is the worst balance patch list to date? I know I've said that or thought that a few times in the past year, but this could be one of them. So let me know y'all's thoughts overall. Let's try to find some silver linings, try to stay positive, and we'll break it down together. All right, let's start from the top. This is the February 16th balance adjustment preview. So we'll be getting this in 2 weeks from today's recording. And guys, just one thing. I think part of it, right? Once again, I sound like a broken record at this point, but I really wish Smilegate could up the cadence or the amount of buffs. Even if we were to cut it in half, it's just the feel at this point, having to wait 2 months. And then for a lot of us, right, it kind of missed the mark, to say the least. It just feels bad. Now we have to wait another 8 weeks to see some other heroes that we're just hoping at least are a little more exciting, maybe shakes it up more, or at least for units that kind of a lot of people are asking for. But anyways, enough about that, guys. Let's focus on the actual patch notes, the balance units, and we'll discuss it together, right? I didn't really read through it at all, besides looking at the hero list, and then some people were messaging me this morning. So yeah, let's look at it, guys. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, yeah, is that 7? 7 heroes total, no 4 stars. This one looks a little light. And then 2 artifacts. Guide to a Decision, which is the Guild War arty, and Wall of Order, which is Landy's limited artifact. Yes, I believe. So let's go ahead and look here, guys. Number 1, we have Ambitious Tywin, who, for an ML5, I've been hearing about this. Here's a thing about Ambitious Tywin. I don't think anyone would say right now he's super strong. But I do think there's a lot of other ML5s that are maybe weaker in a lot of people's eyes, or, yeah, people think need the love some more. I really thought this was going to be Little Queen Charlotte. Now, Little Queen Charlotte, same thing like Ambitious Tywin. Neither of them are weak. You still see them here and there, but they probably could both use some love, yeah? Little Queen Charlotte, though, I thought was going to be on there because of the fact that she's getting a skin right now. And, yeah, she'll probably be getting a banner as well, which they usually run when the skin is out for the RTA season. But anyways, let's go look at Ambitious Tywin's buffs here. We have now... When the caster's in range ignores effect resist, that's just straight tacked on his Icy Sword Storm, which is his skill 1. So, right, he's going to have the enrage mechanic as well as ignore ER, guys. And a quick note on ignore effect resist. I'm honestly sick of this mechanic. I think it's very powerful, obviously. So those of you that are looking forward to this, that use units like Lua, whoever else, you know, usually it comes with a soul burn. Tywin now, as long as he has enrage, he'll ignore ER. So... it just, especially as a player that's been building a lot of effect resist on units, because having debuffs, especially when you play like not a speedy playstyle, being able to ignore effects, debuffs is very important. And the more and more units that can kind of just bypass all the gearing that you might want to do to build up enough effect resist to stop debuffs, it's just a little bit, you know. I wish they would look at the interaction between ignores ER, effect resist in general. It's balance between that and effectiveness, but... silver linings, guys. Let's stay positive. All right. Next up, we have his skill 2 passive battle command. So this is how he's going to get into the enrage, and it's also just tacked on as long as when an ally is debuffed and after the caster is attacked. Okay, so it's the same. Nothing is changing in that regard. As long as there's a debuff present and Tywin gets hit, he'll get enraged for 1 turn. Let's see here. And then the flash. This one is a little bit significant, though, guys, because they are actually changing one thing here. The red text they're using appropriately, because that's actually getting removed. But they're adding defense break. So it's still saying 80%, right? So not 100% chance for the stun or now the defense break. And, of course, it will also ignore effect resist. So this is obviously huge. Being able to ignore effect resist on skill 3 and skill 1 is insane. I'm not sure how I'm going to deal with that. It's going to be pretty hard. Before, Tywins would either have to build like damage, bruiser builds, or they would build very high effectiveness to try and stun the Soul Weavers as well, right? Now, he's not going to need any of that as long as, you know, you're bringing him into debuffs, which you should. He gets that enrage. He can even stun Destinas now, whatever it is. I guess the only good thing is that he doesn't have decreased speed now, which means the control lockdown will be maybe a little bit more manageable. But now he'll be able to build damage, doesn't need to stack effectiveness, and 2-turn defense break, as we know, guys. Defense break is one of the most powerful debuffs. Now him and his team might just kill you instead of controlling you for Frenzy 10 for a million turns, right? So, yeah, crazy buffs for Tywin. I'm not sure who was asking for this amount. It seems a little ham-fisted, but, I mean, the Tywin lovers, get ready. I think it's going to be pretty significant here as long as you bring him in the right situation. He'll do a lot more damage, I think, because we'll be able to build him with just straight damage, and we'll still be able to stun even the highest resist, Soul Weavers, etc. All right, well, that was pretty significant. Next up, guys, this is a unit I don't really play as much, and I've been hearing some mixed reviews. So any Melissa experts out there, I know you're out there. Let me know. We'll get to it in a second. I actually didn't read all of this yet, so let's see here in the beginning. Manifestation. The skill 1, I believe. Damage dealt increases proportional to the caster's lost health. Okay, so she'll do more damage. A lot of times, I think, in the follow-up hits, this will be pretty significant, similar to, like, Bloodblade Karen. I guess any damage extra for Melissa is good. But really, the question was, did Melissa truly need another round of buffs? I know she's still not, like, mega meta, seen in a lot of cleave farms, but I've seen some players that are dedicated to using her do very well. And so I'm surprised to see her back on the balance patch list. She's getting more souls on the Blood Bloom as well. Actually, guys, Manifestation, let me know if that's skill 1 or what skill that is. I said skill 1, but I'm not even sure. I know that this Blood Bloom is probably skill 3. But let's read through this real quick. Let's see. So now, this is the one I was getting some messages on if it was a nerf or actually a buff. But it says a portion of the damage inflicted on all allies except for the target by single attacks will also be suffered by the target as additional damage in their turn. So they're increasing the souls just like right here on the Blood Bloom. Or excuse me, no, that's the same one. This is just the Awakened version. But the curse damage is increased. However, and I don't know, they're still using the green instead of red. Anyways, a portion of damage inflicted on all allies except for the target. So essentially what they're trying to do here, guys, in the explanation, let's see if they explain it here. Moreover, her skill Blood Bloom will acquire more souls. Okay, and the curse effect triggered by the skill will be modified. The damage inflicted on the target under the curse effect will be significantly increased. So until we see the actual numbers, until we see this actually come into play, guys, don't take too much stock in just the text. It is worded a little weird. It also, we're not sure. But my assumption is, right, Smilegate is going to give her a net positive increase in damage, even though they're taking out that the, let's see here. Even though they're taking out that the curse effect will no longer cause the target itself to take additional damage, right? So they are changing that, but it should be a net positive increase in damage because the curse damage overall is going to increase. But yeah, let me know what you Melissa experts think overall of this. I think the main thing that a lot of us are just wondering is why Melissa here. They seem to be giving her a ton of love, just like Euphine, just like a few other units, right, guys? They just seem to always love giving that unit attention when there's so many other units that just, you know, are dying to get a little something. All right, speaking of units that just get a lot of love, Kise again, not super prominent, however, guys, as a slower player. Kise is the bane of my existence. Yeah, she gets outsped by other units, but when she takes her turns, man, I think she's already pretty good as is, and I don't know, I'm not excited for her to get even more damage, but once again, Kise fans out there that use her a lot, I'm happy for y'all. But I do think there was way more units out there that, you know, probably deserve this spot. So she's getting more damage on this is the skill 2, I believe, right? Yeah, skill 2. Nocturne is a skill 3, and she'll get even more barrier strength, which I guess is always fine. Maybe, though, that'll give us bigger inversions if you were running DJ Bazaar or Ning Ning. But let's see. Versatile hero increase the cooldown. The adjustment of the barrier provided will be strengthened. So they just wanted to say him stealth more easy. Okay. Maybe by Smilegate's numbers, Kise wasn't being played as much as they'd like her to. But I know personally that I'm not excited for her to get even more damage and more, you know, survivability or being able to stay in stealth even easier. All right. Next up, guys. Tale Tenebria. Now, this one's interesting. Tale Tenebria has long been, you know, pushed out, besides for the players that still just like her and want to run her. So let's see what they're changing on this unit. She used to run the battlefield before, guys. When it was a control meta, she was an absolute terror. 1 pair now. Attacks me. This is a skill 1. So instead of the 2 poisons, which was always kind of awkward, now she's getting a 75% chance to inflict Redirect Provoke, which is pretty big, right? The Redirect Provoke, if you're not fully aware of Tale Tenebria's kit, a lot of her stuff, right, revolves around the redirected provoke, as she'll activate the shuffle, as we can see here, right, guys? And the shuffle now, instead, she's getting more damage, which might be relevant. Not really a unit known for damage, but hey, any damage extra will help. And maybe some people did run her as some damage. But she's losing unhealable for decreased speed, which should be just a straight up win, right, guys? Unhealable, not always the best. And decreased speed is very, very powerful, especially when you're running a comp like a control sort of comp. I was talking about decreased speed with a Tywin. Tale Tenebria now getting this is pretty big. She's also getting a provoke on S1. However, I do think this hurts one specific matchup, and that is maybe running against units like Rowana. Losing unhealable there might be impactful, but we'll see. I think overall this should be pretty dang good for Tenebria. We'll have to see how that pans out. Another unit that's just could be very powerful. All right, guys. Here we got Mui, who definitely... Now, Mui is the first one on this list, I think, so far. Maybe Tale Tenebria. That's like, okay. Mui definitely needed some love here. Let's see. The Lash will now get target for 2 turns instead of a random debuff, which is really nice. Random debuff is just... I mean, besides for the fun factor to see what you get, it's not reliable and just not very good in a competitive style game if you're using her competitively. So target now is pretty good, I guess. Not really sure how to feel about that overall, but having a dedicated buff or debuff, excuse me, instead of random, I think should be better. Punishment will now have its damage dealt increase and all skill cooldowns decreased by 2 turns. Okay. And then the grand finale increases combat readiness by the caster. Let's read the awakened form by 25% per critical hit. And the cooldown is actually getting increased, it looks like, right? Yeah, the cooldown's getting increased. And she's only acquiring 2 souls now, but now she'll get her imprint concentration changed to allow for more effectiveness, which she is a debuff heavy unit, so I guess that's pretty nice. Dual attack chance is the one getting changed. Let's see what they actually say here in the notes. Oh, her exclusive equipment is getting changed as well. Has a 35% chance to grant the caster an extra turn. I remember that one. And now it says grants enhanced dual attack to the ally with the highest attack after using Grand Family. Okay, so with the EE change, she's getting changed pretty significantly here. More damage, combat readiness, in lieu of a cooldown increase, I think. Now targeting enemy soul burn effect will be transferred to punishment. Additionally, the improve concentration. Okay, overall though, guys, yeah, I don't know if this is gonna make Mui like meta, but I don't think a lot of people want that anyways. Maybe the Mui fans, this will make her more viable. Let me know, those of you out there who are running Mui. I know a few people out there that really love her. I think looks wise she's amazing, but it's never been my kind of unit. So let's keep moving on. A lot of control stuff, right, guys? Kind of getting looked at here a little bit between Tywin, Tale Tenebria, and now Mui. Maybe Smilegate. Maybe that's why the Crimson Seed nerf was getting implemented. Who knows? All right, guys. Church of Ilryos Axe, the Axe God. If you weren't aware, this guy got a buff not super long ago where they try to make him like a anti-light unit, but they ended up scaling back the damage that he dealt, and a lot of players were a little bit bit upset about that because his damage felt underwhelming prior to what the patch note said. Anyways, right here it says red proportional to caster's max health, and now it's green. I'm assuming that just means they're increasing the scaling. We'll see if they say in the description. Attack chain, 60% chance to provoke, and they're reducing the amount of souls you get. They're doing a lot of soul balancing as well. Wonder why. But extra provoke, sure, why not? And let's see, on the Plague Strike, which is the skill 3, he gets 1 more soul. So it's just getting changed from skill 2 to skill 3. Let's see here. Crit chance. So just souls, and then his imprint concentration is now crit, which is a pretty big buff, I think. 144 flat attack versus 11.2% crit, especially on a 3-star unit. Not a lot of 3-stars have this kind of crit imprint. That's pretty big, I think, in terms of gearing stat-wise. And wait, what am I looking at here? Oh, sorry, guys. We were looking at the unawakened form, or the unspecialty, the non-specialty change form. Let's see this one here. So they're changing the runes as well as the main difference. And then Wedge Rune, after being attacked by light elemental target, 100% chance to increase effectiveness. All right, sure, why not? Increase damage dealt by attack chain by 10%. And then the Courage Rune says when an ally is attacked by a light enemy, has a 50% chance to counterattack with attack chain. Okay, that's kind of cool. He's kind of getting like a built-in Elbrus which can now proc provoke, right? It's the AoE hit here. I'm assuming that's why they lowered the soul amount now that I can see it. So kind of cool. I like what they're doing with Chaos Axe Sect or Axe God. But the problem is, I think when I saw people testing him, the damage just wasn't quite there. But maybe this will push him into more what do we call it? Utility, and maybe just enough damage in general. Now that he'll be able to counterattack out of turn, provokes. Should be kind of nice. We'll have to see about that. Crit Chance Imprint, I'm a big fan of too. Not super exciting, but those players, I think I will try to bust this guy out. I've always been a fan. I'll see if he's actually good against light units. All right, guys, let's about to wrap it up here. We have the Artifacts Guide to a Decision, which is the Guild War artifact. And funny enough, this was actually used, I think, against Tale Tenebria, especially on units like Holiday You Fiend to kind of protect your immunity, because it did provide a barrier. So certain units couldn't strip and then get to the immunity in time. But now this is getting just a straight, almost double, right? Increase in barrier health. All right, hey, I'm down with that buff. Make sure y'all pick it up from the Guild War shop. Wall of Order. This is the Landy artifact, guys. At the start of the turn for each buff, Grand Enemy has a 5 to 10% chance to increase greater attack for 1 turn. That's actually pretty significant, right? Because it scales off the amount of buffs, and greater attack is pretty damn nice. At the end of the turn, grants a barrier equivalent to 25 to 50% of the cast. Man, we're just buffing barriers out the wazoo. Kise, Guide to Decision, now Wall of Order, and that's a big barrier. At max level, if you have a max Wall of Order, 50% of the caster's attack barrier is pretty nice. And then the increased chance for Gab, greater attack buff. So the first question we got to ask, guys, is what units can use this that's not already using like Guiding Light? Because Landies, not just Landies, but most Rangers now, for most playstyles, Guiding Light is just the safest option. It just stops a lot of problems you might have. But there are a lot of players out there that, I shouldn't say a lot, but there are players out there that are either running like a counter Landy on Bloodstone. Maybe now we can try like a Lifesteal Landy on Wall of Order and just build mega tanky, mega bulky. But in general, I think a lot of players, you're still going to want to opt to stay on Guiding Light. However, trying to shake things up and making especially like a limited arty that was meant for a unit to feel a little bit nicer, I'm definitely going to try this out. I think I have quite a few Wall of Orders. I might try like a tankier Landy and see how that pans out. But be careful, because I think Guiding Light is just so powerful, you probably want to opt to stay on that. All right, guys, overall, we'll wrap it up there. Try to stay positive. Let's wait for the next balance patch in 2 months. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.